Welcome to Saga Summaries. Today we will recap one of the most iconic film Nightmare on Elm Street, from Part 1 to Part 7. So sit back and relax. For more video recaps like this, click subscribe to support the channel. Let's go. In the quiet suburban sanctuary of Springwood, sleep has become a lethal trap as the teenagers of Elm Street find themselves hunted by a charred, razor-clawed phantom who transforms their deepest fears into a waking, blood-soaked reality. This nightmare is personified by Freddy Krueger, a vengeful spirit in a tattered sweater who was birthed from a dark secret kept by the town's parents and has now returned to claim the lives of their children from within the safety of their own dreams. As the body count rises and the law remains powerless against a killer who defies the laws of physics, Nancy Thompson must endure the agonizing torture of sleep deprivation to uncover the truth of Freddy's past before her own mind betrays her. With the line between the physical world and the surreal boiler room, Hell's Cape dissolving, the only hope for survival lies in a desperate, high-stakes gamble to pull the monster out of the dream world and into the light of day. It is a race against time and the inevitable weight of a closing eyelid, proving that in a world where you die in your sleep, you don't wake up. The greatest terror isn't what's hiding under the bed, it's what's waiting inside your head. 5 years after Nancy Thompson pulled the nightmare into the light, a new family moves into the infamous house on Elm Street, unaware that the spirit of Freddy Krueger has survived by lingering in the shadows of the basement. Unlike his previous hunts, the man of your dreams has developed a terrifying new strategy. He no longer wants to just kill Jesse Walsh. He wants to inhabit him. As the sweltering heat of a suburban summer gives way to blackouts and spontaneous combustion, Jesse begins to realize that the waking world is becoming just as distorted as his nightmares, with Freddy using Jesse's own body as a vessel to cross the threshold into reality. Caught in a psychological tug-of-war for his soul, Jesse must fight to suppress the monster within before the razor-clawed killer uses his hands to restart the Springwood slaughter. It is a descent into madness where your own reflection becomes your worst enemy. And the only way to stop the carnage is to find the strength to cast out the demon before the possession is complete. The nightmare isn't just in your head anymore, it's under your skin. In the sterile, white-walled halls of Weston Hills Psychiatric Hospital, the last survivors of the Elm Street children are being picked off one by one, written off by the staff as a tragic suicide epidemic until a familiar face from the past, Nancy Thompson, arrives to reveal the impossible truth. Freddy Krueger is back, and he's stronger than ever. Faced with a monster who can manipulate their deepest insecurities into lethal traps, the institutionalized teens realize that their only hope lies in a desperate, experimental therapy to unlock their hidden dream powers, transforming themselves into the Dream Warriors. Guided by Nancy's experience and Dr. Neil Gordon's discovery of Freddy's unholy origins, the group must descend into a surreal, shifting hellscape of giant serpents and living shadows to strike at the heart of the killer's power. It is a war for the soul of the next generation, where imagination is the only weapon and the battle for the dream world will determine the fate of the waking one. No more running, no more hiding. This time, the children of Elm Street are fighting back. In the aftermath of the battle at Weston Hills, the surviving Dream Warriors believe the nightmare is finally buried. But as Freddy Krueger is resurrected from his own unholy remains, he begins a systematic slaughter to extinguish the last of the Elm Street bloodline. With his original prey nearly gone, Freddy finds a new gateway into the minds of the innocent through Alice Johnson, a shy daydreamer who unknowingly becomes a vessel for the abilities and the souls of her fallen friends. As Alice watches those she loves vanish into a surreal kaleidoscope of cinematic horrors, from a lethal afternoon at the movies to a hellish, infinite loop of a suburban diner, she must transform from a passive observer into the Dream Master. Empowered by the collective strength of the souls Freddy has consumed, Alice prepares for a cosmic showdown where she must use the monster's own reflection to shatter his power once and for all. It is a neon-soaked, high-octane battle for survival, where the dreams of the many become the weapon of the one. In the wake of her victory, Alice Johnson believes she has finally earned her happily ever after. But the nightmare finds a terrifying new doorway back into reality through the innocent, unformed mind of her unborn son. Trapped in a surreal purgatory between life and death, Freddy Krueger exploits the child's dreams to feast upon a new generation of victims, bypassing Alice's defenses by feeding the infant the souls of her friends. As the lines between the playground and the nursery blur into a gothic, M.C. Escher-inspired hellscape, Alice must delve into the twisted history of Freddy's own birth, the bastard son of 100 maniacs, to find the key to stopping his unholy resurrection. To save her child and her own sanity, she must confront the ghost of Amanda Young and engage in a psychological war where the purity of maternal love is the only weapon against an ancient, hungry evil. The cradle has become a cage, and the fight for the future begins before the first breath is even taken. 10 years into a bleak, childless future where the town of Springwood has descended into a collective, sun-scorched madness, the last surviving teenager is lured back into the dead zone to serve as a beacon for Freddy Krueger's final, desperate gambit. No longer content with a single town, the spring-heeled slasher seeks to escape the boundaries of Elm Street by exploiting his long-lost daughter, Maggie Burroughs, using her memories as a bridge to infest the dreams of the entire world. As Maggie and a group of runaway teens are pulled into a surreal journey through Freddy's warped psyche, they uncover the suppressed history of the man before the monster. The domestic demon, named Fred Krueger, whose thirst for pain was granted immortality by ancient, chthonic dream demons. To end the cycle of carnage, Maggie must travel into the heart of the dream world, armed with the knowledge of his secret weaknesses, to strip Freddy of his supernatural power and face him in a brutal, physical showdown. It is the end of the line for the bastard son of 100 maniacs, a final descent into a 3D nightmare where the only way to kill the dream is to bury the man once and for all. In a groundbreaking shift that blurs the boundary between fiction and the terrifying truth, the entity known as Freddy Krueger breaks through the screen and into the lives of the very actors who brought him to fame. 10 years after the original film, Heather Langenkamp, the actress who played Nancy, finds her reality splintering as a darker, more ancient version of the razor-clawed killer begins stalking her family in the wake of a series of mysterious deaths. This is not the wisecracking Freddy of the sequels, but a primordial evil that has used the nightmare on Elm Street franchise as a cage, and now that the films have ended, the cage is open. As the line between the script and the real world dissolves, Heather must reclaim her role as Nancy one last time, descending into a surreal, gothic underworld to protect her son from a monster that is no longer satisfied with celluloid. It is the ultimate meta-horror showdown, where the only way to defeat the demon is to finish the story, because in Hollywood, the nightmare is finally real.